creators of Rick and Morty love hiding sneaky little Easter eggs in their episodes. They hint at potential plot threads, inspire fan theories, and just show affection for the shows that inspired them. Regardless of the reasons for the references, it still prompts fans to scour back through the episodes and analyze every frame. Today we're going to be looking at the secrets that they've hid in plain sight, and talking about what they could mean for the rest of the show. Content. Can you guess what movie these emoji represent? Wait to the end of the video to find out.
This is a big one. Somebody probably tracked it in last week on the bottom of their shoe or on a piece of alien fruit.
Someone?
Get off the high road, Summer. We all got pink eye because you won't stop texting on the toilet.
Rick accidentally brought parasites with him. The fan-favorite episode Total Recall plays about with the protagonist's perception of reality and the reliability of their own memories. The episode revolves around parasitic aliens who take on a disguise and influence the memories of those around them.
Would everybody just relax for a second? There's no such thing as an Uncle Steve. That is an alien parasite.
This way, the aliens are able to make their victims think that they're a loved one who's always been around them. The downside is that they can only fabricate positive memories, not negative ones. The episode revolves around Rick trying to work out which of his family and friends are real and which ones are imposter aliens. How did the aliens get there, though? Well, in an earlier episode, Rick gets his hands on some big glowing green rocks. Although at first it doesn't seem like a big deal, at the very start of Total Recall, we can see him trying to dispose of some of those rocks in the bin. And what were living on those green rocks? Small purple alien life forms. So it seems like Rick accidentally brought the alien menace home with him and the small aliens got out of hand. Although we have to say Rick trying to dispose of them by putting them in the bin doesn't exactly seem like a surefire way of getting rid of them.
Oh, sorry, I was expecting...
A Rick partner? Lesson 1, rookie. Expect the unexpected. Now get in.
Morty's origin. Rick and Morty might be the characters we know and love, but their history is pretty unknown. When Rick and Morty starts, they've already known each other and been on adventures with one another for a little while. There have also been a lot of little hints given in the show that our Rick and Morty might not be each other's first. The Morty that we know and love has been lightly implied to be Rick's second or maybe even third Morty. When we get to see through Rick's memories, we see a 14-year-old Morty, then followed by a memory of Rick with a baby Morty. Rick shouldn't have any memories of a baby Morty if it's true that he disappeared from the Smith family for 20 years. So if he's not Rick's original Morty, then who is? Well, he could be dead. After all, Rick does have a very weird relationship with Morty, unable to decide if he loves him or not. However, Rick's first Morty could be the evil Morty. The intro of the show shows Rick leaving Morty stranded in a dimension of giant frogs. Some fans believe that this was Rick's original Morty, and the one that would ultimately become evil Morty.
Relaxed enough?
I admire you, Rick. Rick, here's...
Rick's crime is destroying worlds. It's no secret that Rick is a very wanted man. In fact, he's the most wanted man in all the multiverse, but it's never been clearly explained. What could Rick have done to make so many people want him in jail? Destroying multiple worlds is probably a good example of a crime. Yes, Rick has already ruined one version of Earth that we know of. Rick accidentally Cronenberged up the world and took Morty to an identical version of that world, save for the mutant nightmare apocalypse.
Okay, well, sometimes science is more art than science, Morty. A lot of people don't get that.
In this world, he and Morty both died. Rick buried his own dead body and seemed remarkably nonchalant about it. So this might be something he does kind of often. In the very first episode, Rick attempts to destroy the world and start again. While Rick passes out, that bomb is never disarmed.
That was all a test, Morty. Just an elaborate test to make you more assertive.
It was?
Sure, why not? I don't know.
Could the series really open with Rick destroying the planet Earth? When you consider that Rick disappeared for 20 years, it seems likely that Rick merely replaced a dead version of himself, albeit one that died long before he arrived. Rick is also fairly reluctant to say what dimension any of his family are from. Could it be that he just plain doesn't know? Has he been through so many dimensions that he doesn't even know where he currently is? You're always wrong. In the episode Raising Gazorpazorp, Morty finds himself in an awkward situation. Through his own teenage antics, he's managed to become a father to an alien. When Rick and Summer go to the alien's home planet, they find a world divided. Everyone on the planet is one of two stereotypes. While all the men on the planet are big, hulking cavemen-like people with little thought outside of food, fighting, and women, the women themselves are very different. The women are overly dressed, speak fancily, are constantly gossiping, and play up opposite stereotypes from the men. They also greet each other with
I am here if you need to talk.
Although it's interesting that both aliens are hyper-exaggerated versions of the human sexes, it also gave us a funny hidden joke. On the Queen's throne, there's Latin writing. It reads Sis Semper Calumnium. That roughly translates to you are always wrong or may you always be wrong. The translation isn't exact, but it's the closest. It's another witty little secret that the creators put in. Although it'll probably be missed by the majority, for those who can figure it out and those who read about it, it makes for a good laugh.
And these babies just saved this lame-ass party! Wubba-dubba-dub-dub! Play something. Somebody play something.
Alien Rick Dance. The episode Rick See Business revolves around a giant party. Rather than the kids throwing it, it's the grandpa, and we get tons of aliens visiting them. Unfortunately for Morty, the party accidentally gets teleported to another part of the galaxy. A dangerous part of the galaxy at that, one with giant killer aliens. Morty is obviously unhappy at that fact and wants to go home. Instead of taking them back, Rick goes full frat boy and crushes up an alien crystal and snorts it. From there, he's entranced and motivated to perform the Rick Dance. That's a super choreographed yet also party-appropriate dance. He's joined by several people at the party. Morty, on the other hand, just wants to be back on his own planet, and he's not especially happy about Rick's dancing and crystal snorting. He throws the crystals outside, but before Rick can grab them, a large alien tentacle picks them up and takes them away. While the two of them bicker, a few shots later in the background, we can see a giant, very happy alien dancing with his tentacles up in the air. He's spinning around exactly like Rick was. So one thing is certain, those crystals can make anyone dance.
Mr. Meeseeks, look at me!
Mr. Meeseeks. In the episode Meeseeks and Destroy, Rick gives the Smith family a Meeseeks box. They exist to help you out with your task, then they vanish out of existence. Jerry asks the Meeseeks to help him take 2 strokes off his golf game.
Ooh, yeah! Can do!
Unfortunately for Mr. Meeseeks, Jerry is hopeless at golf. The task grows harder and harder until eventually Mr. Meeseeks decides to use the Meeseeks box himself in order to get his own helper. It's not enough. Jerry eventually ends up with an army of Mr. Meeseeks all trying to help him with his golf game. Eventually the Meeseeks go crazy and attack. If they kill him, then they've taken 2 strokes off his golf game. Once Beth finally helps Jerry improve his golf game, they all disappear. The Meeseeks aren't seen again until the episode Morty Night Run, where an alien can be seen playing a pinball machine with a Mr. Meeseeks next to him. A few seconds later, he vanishes away, having completed his task. Existence is pain for a Meeseeks, so we're glad that the new ones get easier jobs.
Tell me, Rick, what do you desire?
I make my own stuff. So what are you, like the devil?
Beating up Randall. Something Rick in This Way Comes mainly spoofs the Stephen King story Needful Things, in which the devil opens up a shop and gives evil items to unsuspecting customers. This prompts Rick to open up his own business where he uses science to de-evil the villain's gifts. This puts Rick at odds with the devil. Their businesses start to compete and the devil just can't seem to keep up. Summer, who's been working at Needful Things, tries to help the devil. Unfortunately for her, the devil is a deceiver, and he stabs her in the back and breaks her heart.
You're Zuckerberging me?
I was Zuckerberging people before Zuckerberg's balls dropped.
Summer is understandably pretty sad, and Rick takes it upon himself to cheer her up. Rick uses science to roid him and Summer up to Arnold Schwarzenegger proportions, and they beat the devil to a pulp. That's not enough though, as they go on to beat even more people. One of the guys they beat down is some guy in the playground, and fans of the Disney Channel may find him a little familiar. That's because the guy looks extraordinarily like Randall from Recess. Randall, who's always been a snitch and frequently the antagonist to the kids in Recess, gets pounded by 2 muscle-bound behemoths, and to be honest, it's hard to feel sorry for him.
Yeah, bro.
We totally worth it. We did it. We just pulled it off.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Tune in to Rick and Morty Season 3 in like a year and a half.
The reason for the 4th wall breaks. Rick and Morty isn't a show that breaks the 4th wall very often. Although it does occasionally joke about the structure of movies and stories in general, there are only 2 characters who frequently break the 4th wall. The first and most famous is Rick. Rick breaks the 4th wall, addressing the audience directly and saying things like,
"Oh, we'll be right back."
He also came up with his own catchphrase and talks about how the show's gonna go on for several seasons. Why is this? Well, despite it just seeming like a random collection of jokes, some fans have theorized that Rick knows he's in a TV show. There have been little secrets to support this theory sprinkled throughout the show, but it's most heavily supported by the final episode of Season 2, in which the character Mr. Poopy Butthole is revealed to have been watching the last episode on TV.
Hoo-wee, what a cliffhanger. Oh boy, oh my. That's a real Crazy ending, huh?
Seeing as he's clearly had many adventures on TV, some fans believe that he's informed Rick that he's on a TV show, and that's why Rick is depressed all the time. There have been quick little lines the writers put in to support the theory too, like when Rick says he refuses to answer a literal call to adventurers.
I refuse to answer a literal call to adventure, Morty. Let it go to voicemail.
Grunkle Stan's stuff. Rick and Morty's creator Justin Roiland is a longtime friend of Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls. Having both worked together at Disney before Roiland went his own way, it's not surprising that the shows have a few references to each other. Gravity Falls suggests that Ford travels between universes all the time, and we already know that Rick Sanchez is all about interdimensional travel. So in the episode Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind, Rick opens up multiple portals to other dimensions to try and cover his tracks. One of them spews out a mug with a question mark, a notepad, and a pen. This is a direct reference to an episode of Gravity Falls when Grunkle Stan loses those exact items through a portal in the episode Society of the Blind Eye. It's a fun reference and one that hints at a connection between the two. It's not the only Gravity Falls reference either, as an image of Bill Cipher also appears in the show. While we doubt we'll ever see a proper collaboration, seeing as the shows are owned by rival networks, Cartoon Network and the Disney Channel respectively, it's still fun to speculate on how the two shows could be connected. Time travel stuff. Rick and Morty is heavily inspired by Back to the Future. As a matter of fact, Justin Roiland actually got noticed by Dan Harmon when he made a vulgar parody of the Rob Zemeckis classic for Harmon's Film Festival. The skit was eventually adapted and expanded as the show Rick and Morty. Yet, despite being inspired by the adventures of Dr. Emmett L. Brown and Marty McFly, so far no time travel has occurred in the show. There are hints that it could happen though, as Rick does possess a box filled with time travel stuff. Although the box, much like the idea, has literally been shelved. Part of the reason is that introducing time travel would be a massive headache for them to explain and write a consistent story around. That being said, the time travel box is a nice little Easter egg for the fans. The show has dealt with time being frozen before, and it made for a pretty fun episode where Rick, Morty, and Summer's timelines were out of sync with the rest of the world. But the idea of that happening every time they want to travel through time could be a little grating unless they found some way to explain it away. So for now, Rick and Morty is leaving time travel to the professionals.
Oh, that was awesome!
That's all we've got time for today. There are plenty of little Easter eggs and fan theories surrounding Rick and Morty, and there was no way we can include them all. Were there any of your favorites that we didn't include? If so, comment below and let us know.